Okay, guys, so let's get right into hot topics because as we sit here today, as we're filming this, the impeachment trial for, excuse me, the Senate impeachment trial for President Donald J. Trump is going on right now, and there are a lot of questions going on. So, what we have right now are the two articles of impeachment. The first article is the abuse of power, which stems from his dealings with the president of Ukraine, President Zelensky, when he was allegedly was pressuring the president, to investigate some claims about Joe Biden and this energy company his son worked for. And some others say he was trying to get political dirt on on Joe Biden. And the other one is the obstruction of Congress, because when they were trying to question some of the White House officials, a lot of them used the executive privilege and they did not testify. So my question is, as we're watching this going on, the first question I wanted to ask is, 57% of Americans approve that the impeachment trial should be allowed to introduce new witnesses and new evidence. I just want to know, I want to go to you guys, to the table, and see how you guys feel. And about the impeachment process in general. I'm going to start with Nikki first.
I mean, it's kind of a tough one for me to answer because, if it's all evidence that would, excuse me, I'm battling like the plague right now.
I know, I hear you.
It's been going on for like a week, and yesterday it hit me full force, and now I feel okay. I sound like I'm dying, so apologies. In advance, I don't think I'm contagious anymore.
So okay, no, you're anyway. Good.
So basically, I think if they're going to contribute to, if it's going to be helpful in any way determining a resolution, yes. But if it's just turning into more, I just feel like if it's turning into more and more of a way to just, and I don't even mean drag it out, like let's get this, but convolute it more and
like a
confuse
circus?
More, yes, and make it more like a circus, then I just don't really see the point. It's for these items here, and supposedly they've had all this evidence and all these facts for quite some time, so I just don't really see the point.
Well, because like they want one of the witnesses they want to call is National Security Advisor, I think it's John Bolton, and he was there. I think more it's just the witnesses as well, because they have more information.
And that's what I mean. If they're going to bring more information to the table, then 100% it shouldn't really be a question.
Right.
But if they're going out and seeking, if there's already people that are coming forward that want to testify, that want to add information to what's already been laid out, then I don't see, I think that's the opposite of a problem. I think that's a good thing. But if they're just going out and seeking and just trying to pile on more things, it just seems like it's more of a trying to create more convolution and confusion.
Right. I have another question before we go to Courtney. The GAO, the Government Accountability Office, deemed that when he withheld the money from Ukraine, they deemed it illegal. How did you feel? Did you feel it was illegal?
I feel like any abuse of power when you're in a position such as that should be considered illegal.
Right.
Just because only because where does the line get drawn? If you're going to abuse power in one way, are you going to abuse it in more detrimental ways down the road?
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, to me, it's illegal.
Right.
Because it's wrong. And when you're in a position of power, any wrongdoing that you commit is going to ripple down a lot harder and a lot more aggressively than just a normal, regular person.
Exactly. And then we go to Courtney.
So, I agree with what you said about adding witnesses and whatnot. I think that it's for me, the word's been thrown around a lot. It's a witch hunt, and I feel like a lot of it is a witch hunt. Nancy Pelosi has stated that they've been working on this impeachment for the last 2 years, which, how would you be doing
just
that?
To debate that though, that has
happen?
been a talking point for Republicans. They've been working on this for 2 years. This evidence just came out last year in July. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, but this came out last year in July. So how is that a factual statement? She did say that, yeah.
Yeah, she said
because they didn't
that.
like him, but this evidence came out this year.
Exactly.
I don't understand. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. How can you be working on an impeachment if this just happened? And for me, looking at that, standing over here, if you didn't like him, there's nothing to say that you have to like every single president.
Right.
That you don't have to bow down and kiss their ass. However, I feel like there is a level of respect that you need to have for somebody. It's just like your boss, only this is like, you know, the leader of your country.
Right.
But also, why would you want him to fail? Like, this is the leader of your country. If he fails,
And that's a really good point.
you fail. Like,
Right.
you don't want him to fail. You want to, yes, hold him accountable because he's supposed to be, he or she, depending on how this next election goes, like, you want this person in charge of your country or your business or even down to your home. You don't want them to fail. That directly affects you. That affects your country. That
Right.
affects the policies. That affects your entire livelihood. Like, you don't want them to fail. And then looking at this also from, so they say that it was there was quid pro quo, that Trump withheld.
He was trying to do a quid pro quo because remember a whistleblower who we don't know who it is, and I just want to throw this out to the table. I think it's a Republican because why is he so afraid to reveal who he is? You know what I mean? But go ahead. He was trying to do a quid pro quo. He was trying to pressure them into doing something for him.
Okay,
Trying
so
is
said whistleblower says this, and ergo the impeachment trials, right?
Well, so did the Government Accountability Office, who's a nonpartisan. They investigated the claim, and everyone's looking at it. I mean, I just don't. Go ahead.
So if this was between the U.S., Trump, and Ukraine, what's his name? Zelensky?
Mhm.
So if Zelensky said that this was absolutely not a quid pro quo, that I did not have that conversation with him, and that he's irritated that, what did he say? Hold on, I got this pulled up real quick. He, in an interview, he blasted the U.S. for treating his country like a political chess piece. And so for them, like, he's taking a step back because he doesn't want to be involved in this because he has openly stated that it was not a quid pro quo conversation, that he would not have that, and that he feels disrespected that the U.S. would make his country look like that because he doesn't want to have like a corrupt country, doesn't want to look like this is a corrupt
Yeah, because
country.
he ran on the anti-corruption campaign because that country was dealing with a lot of corruption. Because what a lot of this stuff came from was in 2014, Joe Biden was pressuring them because he did withhold money from them as well, but it wasn't to get any dirt or investigation on anyone. It was because the prosecutor who was also investigating the chairman of Burisma, the energy company that Hunter Biden worked for, but he was also investigating that, but he wasn't going after corruption. That's why he was fired. And the fact that I hear what you're saying there, and I read the transcript, to me, I'm looking at it, he's asking for something. There's no reason, he's not asking to investigate Joe Biden for national security purposes. It's only, to me, it's a quid pro quo because he did withhold the money only to get them to investigate something in order to make Joe Biden look bad. And that is interfering with our elections. You know what I mean? Because like all of a sudden, we're talking about Biden, like is he a bad person? I don't trust any politician. But I just find it very, very, very funny and odd that, and this happened in 2014, and now he's bringing it up in 2019. This didn't come up at all. But even when Joe Biden was when he was like going to run, he was hinting in 2018, this never came up, and all of a sudden this is a thing now, like we have to investigate it. I find it funny that Republicans cannot see that this is something, you cannot do that. You can't, there's no reason why he investigated, there's no reason. It wasn't for our national security, it was for political gain. That's what the argument is. He did it for political gain, and if you think about it, like with the Russia shit that happened, with the Hillary emails, nothing came out of that. Nothing. They investigated for 2 years. But when they did the Russia thing with Trump, a lot of his people that knew him, they're being indicted. I think it's like 20 people, I can't remember. But Roger Stone's indicted, Mark Cohen. They're being indicted on different charges, but best believe there has to be a plea deal in something with that. That's what I'm saying. I just don't understand. Because I hear you when you say Pelosi was trying to work on this impeachment for 2 years now. But remember when Obama was in, Mitch McConnell said, we're not going to help him at all. But is Obama being, impeached right now? this is a big problem. We can't have these people outside of our country affecting our democracy. It already happened again. And I think that half of America does not want that to happen again. I'm sorry I start talking over you. And I hope you remember your point. But go ahead, and then we got to go to the next question.
Well, I mean, as you're saying this, as I was listening to you talk, it's just like, okay, so the government, there's like a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
So, like for me, I'll break it down Barney style. Like,
I like that.
do it Barney style.
Break it down Barney style.
Yes, something I learned in the military. So go Barney style. So take it out of the military, take it into like a conversation between the three of us.
Yeah.
Right. We're having a conversation, and she thinks that we were that you were pressuring me, that you were going to rape me. And she thought that.
That's extreme.
I know. She's sitting there, and this is what she got from that. We both understand that's not what's happening. Whatever the conversation that we had, you say no, that's not what it was.
Okay.
Me, I say no, that's not what it was. She's saying, well, that's what I got from it. So, like, now you're in trouble and we both say, no, Sean wasn't going to hurt me. Sean wasn't going to do this. Sean wasn't going to do that. But somebody else is saying, yeah, you were, when both parties are saying,
well, see,
no, the fuck you
one party,
weren't.
I think one thing is, my problem is, one party is like, if you're innocent, why not go and testify? One thing the president has to do is to keep the union of our country together. And for me, I think it's very unpatriotic that he's allowing this to go on in the media. And I'm like, step up to the plate. If you're innocent, step up to the plate. If all of this is a witch hunt, whatever, then come in and testify and let the American people know the truth. That's all I want to know. We're seeing this right now,
that's
but
what I said too. If you're in it, you can add something to.
Well, no, I want
Donald.
Donald. What I'm saying is, I want Donald Trump to
well,
testify.
I agree. That's
yeah.
I don't see why that's and that too. That's I'm gonna kind of.
Well, that's our next question.
But no, but that's what I mean. I feel like if it's more, I just feel like everything should be on the table. Everything that is relevant should be on the table. And yeah, he most definitely should.
Yeah, and it's very partisan because Mitch McConnell saying like, I want this a speedy trial. That is a slap in the face of the American people. Because no matter what happened, whether she's right and he's wrong, like the polls are changing. I don't know if you look at the polls. People are at first 46% didn't believe that he did anything wrong. Now we're up to like 52%. 57% wants to see all the evidence. That's not saying I don't disagree with you. I mean, I do disagree with you, but
I mean, I do disagree with you. But.
I do, but I feel like the man, it comes from up top. If you're innocent, step up to the plate and let us all know, because we're all arguing about this stuff, and it's getting too much. You know what I mean?
I would want to speak for myself.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I would 100% want to do that above anything else, especially if I was innocent.
Right. Like all the people in the White House, they're like, oh, if that, like John Bolton and whatever, they're like executive privilege. No, well, if all of this, if we're all wrong, if the Democrats, they're not idiots, because these politicians are lawyers. You know what I mean? I don't have a law degree. Some of them are. I'm done. Most of them have like law degrees or they're professors.
They didn't get where they were.
Yeah, without working hard.
Completely stupid. Yes.
Yeah. So like if I just think that if this is all wrong, just go testify then, boo. President Clinton did, and that's how they got him on perjury. They didn't get him just getting his dick sucked. He lied about what he did, which I think that kind of convolutes the impeachment process right now, because I firmly believe that this is wrong. This is illegal, and then the government, the GOA is saying it's illegal. Half the House is saying it's illegal. Where does it end? You know what I mean? Like if you're innocent, let us know. I mean, you want to respond? Anybody?
No, I agree.
I agree with that. I agree that if you're, I agree that yes, he should go and say, defend himself. You have that right. Also, somebody who is on trial, if they're sitting on that side of the bench, then they don't have to. If somebody's on trial, you cannot force them.
No.
You cannot force them
right.
to. Do we think that he should? Absolutely. Should he be forced to? Absolutely not.
shouldn't be forced to, no.
No.
But he
Well,
should.
compelled. They
realize
can
it's gonna
subpoena.
look a
They can
lot better.
subpoena you to.
That's basically forcing them.
That's forcing. Well, okay, but like I said, if you're innocent though, they shouldn't have to do that. They shouldn't have to.
I think the bottom line
I get what you
is
mean.
morally, he
get
should
what you
just
mean.
step up to the plate.
Right, and
do
end it.
No, we can't. We can't make him because that's his, his
He's-
right to
yeah.
not be forced to do that. I just don't understand. It's a question to me of why it's even a question to him to do it at all.
Right.
That's
It should just be because I
That
think
makes me
as if
wonder.
I supported him, like I supported Obama. Now if this was happening to him, I'd be pissed off if he would. I'm like, wait, you're telling me that I believe in whatever you say, and you're telling me you're innocent. You can't get up there and like just end all this shit. I'd be pissed. I'm like, come on, look, like I said, people are at each other's
that's
throats.
a good
If you
point,
read
too. I
the
feel like both
comments,
sides should be a little put out that he's not stepping right up and just saying something.
exactly. I mean,
Defend
like
yourself.
if you read our comments, like there's a lot of they're arguing with each other, and I'm like, no one's like looking at the point of this stuff. Like the point is the one person who is circulating this. This guy told me yesterday the media is driving this. No, hon, the media is doing their job. They have to report on this. That is their job. And the press is supposed to give the president pushback. They're supposed to criticize you because he's like everyone's being unfair. They were unfair to Clinton. They were unfair to Obama. They were unfair to Bush.
part of their
It's
job
a
to
part
be
of their
unfair.
job. And the one thing I think it's really hurting us is the fact that this man brought up the fake news shit, and now we have to fact check everything. Like we were fact checking shit, and I fact
Which is
checked that.
important to do anyway.
Important
Yes,
anyway.
absolutely.
But now we're like that. We get to fact check everything this man says. He's a liar in chief. Like I said, I want a president that is not just one group of people's president, but he's everybody's president. I've never seen this. Even when Bush was in office, I didn't particularly agree with any of his politics, but he's my president, and so is Donald Trump. But I don't like what he's doing to this country right now. I do not like it. It's wrong.
But to feed off of what you're saying, though, too, you can't. I don't feel like it's fair to put that on him, because
How not? Because he retweets racist stuff on Facebook. I mean, on Instagram. Sorry, Twitter. He says these things himself. So go ahead, answer.
like what you were saying about the comments is there's people in there who are commenting on both sides of the aisle about, oh, typical Trump supporter, oh, typical liberal, typical snowflake, this, that, and the other. Why is there a divide within the country who you support politically, and like how is that a divide then? If we're all Americans, we should all want the same end result, which is for our country to flourish.
Yeah.
No one person is going to be amazing for everybody. Everybody doesn't fit into one box.
Right.
Like in this, it's hard, it's hard to find somebody who can check off the majority of the boxes.
Right.
But like there are so many people who want and believe different things. There are so many people. I mean, you can just get on YouTube and watch for hours people who just go out into the general public and ask general questions about America, about the country, about your policies, about your taxes, about your history in this country, and you were born and raised here, and they couldn't tell
Answer.
you.
Mhm.
Oh,
They have no answer.
Mhm.
So like, I mean, and there's people who just only get their opinions, and they base their opinions and their the way that they vote and everything else that they want off of what the majority of people they see on their social media. That's like
which is very dangerous.
it's so dangerous. That's not okay. Or like a lot of people who I have seen too, they wanted to vote for Hillary Clinton simply because she was a woman. I mean,
I saw all of that too.
Yeah.
I get that, yes, because she's a woman, and I'm all about equal rights for women and equal pay and women's rights and everything else like that. Also, I could give a shit less what they have in their pants if they're going to run a country
Yes.
right, and if they're not corrupt, which I think the Clintons are incredibly corrupt. I
She would have
would.
been a nightmare. It would
I
have
mean,
been-
so is.
Oh,
but then,
she would have been a nightmare.
I'm
But then,
not-
even as you say
we
that,
don't know my beliefs, but
even
that's
as you say that, Trump, he has like 15 lawsuits against him. And even when I brought up like when they were talking about the racist tweets, I'm like, for me, I believe this man's a racist. Because if you're gonna tell people, they called him dead to rights back in the 70s and 80s when these black people were trying to get housing. And they brought a white family in, they got housing. The black people had to fight and get forced to get themselves pushed in. So where does that come from? You know what I mean?
So where does the line get drawn when somebody who does something in their past, and like if they can change, like if their views and the way that they are changed?
But then he told the 4 girls, the squad, to go back to their country where they come from, and and they're all from America, and only one of them was immigrated here. That's a well-known like racist whistleblower, like dog whistle politic.
Whatever her
Alexandria Cortez and Rashida whatnot. It was 4 of them, and the only one of them, Ilan something. I don't have her name right now, but she's the only one that actually was a Muslim. And honestly, go back to your country. That is a racist dog whistle comment. To tell someone to go, especially when 3 of them are from here.
I think it's comments like that really, that not just that, but that's one of the big problems
that, comment.
that I have. You are our president, and with the respect that comes from, you may not like him, you should respect him. Like, he's made some just outrageous comments to the public, written down forever out in the world, and there just doesn't seem to ever be. They get more and more outrageous, so nobody really says much about them anymore.
Right.
But like, that's such an insane thing for a president to say live, or just to. I
don't mean to laugh.
Yeah, I know, because it's just crazy to me that, and it's just. I mean, granted, times are different than they were 20, 15, right. Even 15 years ago, and things are less appalling than they were. But just for our president to say something like that really disturbs me. Right. To my core.
So that's, Courtney, to answer your question, that's where I draw the line, where like people can change. He didn't change. He's still the same person. And now that he's on Twitter, you retweet racist things. Like, if you retweet something, it's like sharing it. That means you're saying it too. And then he says all this other shit that it's just, you just go on Google and just look up all this stuff yourself, and you cannot tell me that this dude is not a divisive person. I don't want him to fail at all. I don't. That's not. I want this country to, be as great as it can be. I didn't think 2 years ago or 3 years ago when he got elected, I was like, oh crap, this could be bad. But I don't think anybody was like consciously working against the president in order to like make him make a phone call, to Ukraine, and then say, hey, I need you to like. Because the guy's like, oh, I can't wait for the security aid to come in, because the security aid was appropriated in April. And the reason why it's illegal is it was Congress appropriated money, and he didn't give a good legal reason as to why he is doing that. And if that's abuse of power, that's exactly what that is. And I just can't. Hey, I didn't know this was going to happen, but the proof is in the pudding. If that's what you said, and that's what you said, read the transcript. Well, they did. And now we're here, and the people are testifying and saying this is what happened, and it's all record. I think that there's this thing called Trump derangement syndrome. I don't think people that didn't vote for Trump has it. I think people who voted for him has Trump derangement syndrome, because when I look at, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but I do, because when the facts come out, like the Republicans are like right now. Well, I mean, when the facts come out,
could have slid that one.
When the facts come out, like I said, like when I was like, when they asked like some of these GOP leaders, like, do you think this man's racist, especially after he said the shithole comment about Haiti? They're like, oh well, they can't give a real answer because they know the truth. So like I said, if you're innocent, step up to the plate, baby, and just let the American people know what's going on. And I'm gonna give you guys a chance to rebuttal that, and then we're gonna move on to that.
No, I agree. If you're innocent, step up and say so. And I completely just lost my train of thought as to what I was just gonna say.
Okay, and then also like Courtney, and one think while she's talking, but Courtney, your final thoughts.
I'm just gonna holster my weapon over here. It's fine.
What are you? I didn't mean to offend anyone, but I really believe that, because I'm like, I'm not deranged. I'm looking at the facts. I mean, like, there's always an excuse. Like Roseanne, when she said that shit about that lady, was it Valerie Jarrett? Like when Roseanne said that racist tweet, like, that Valerie Jarrett looked like, a cross between a Muslim and like the Planet of the Apes. And then she's like, I thought the bitch was white. That's like, and then Trump defends that. I'm like, but he's older than I am. You know what racist things that people say about black folk? They look like a monkey. I'm like, and then they asked like, who's the new senator? right now. That is the Republican one that won us. That ran against I can't remember. Oh God. He was just the governor. I didn't write it down, but we'll look it up. But every time they ask these people like, oh, what do you think? Do you think that's racist? Like, oh, well, I don't know. Give us a straight answer. You're doing the American people a disjustice to me. If you can't give people a straight answer, then you're doing that.
I mean, don't be wishy-washy. Whichever the effect it's going to have, say
the truth.
Say one thing or another. Yeah. Say the truth, but don't be like, maybe the truth.
You know what the hell you just said. Like, come on. Like, it just gets to a point to me where I'm like, this kind of getting bullshit. You know what I mean? Anyways, all right. Are we good with final thoughts, guys? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't support any of the... I'm not on Twitter, and I haven't seen... I mean, I've seen a couple of these, but, like, because some of the things that you pointed out, I will say, yes, that is racist. Do I stand by that? Absolutely not. Do I think that's wrong? Yes, I do. And Trump, if you're watching, get the fuck off of Twitter. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it just drives me insane, some of the stuff that he says. I'm like, okay.
All day long.
Get it together. Like, come on, I'm rooting for you down here, but...
Because, like, you know what?
Stop doing that.
Because, like,
lose one. No.
This is America. This is America.
We'll take her.
This is America right here. Like, we can sit here and, like, disagree and, like, argue and, like, leave at the table, you know? And other people, I don't think, because this guy told me in a comment, he's like, well, he said this about someone else, he's like, people think that all Trump supporters are racist or this and that. I don't think any of that. Just to set the record straight, I don't think any of us.
No, and I think that we're a perfect example of how you can have just disagreements over politics and over certain, maybe even certain aspects of who our president is. But at the end of the day, you're 100% right, Courtney, in that we should all have the same goal, which is for our country to thrive and flourish.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the only thing we're all arguing towards the same thing.
Well, I feel just to say,
if you're arguing. Correct. You know, if you're doing it logically,
you're doing it right, yeah,
and you're not just arguing to argue, then I think it's very easy to argue constructively.
Yes, and stop with the name calling.
Yeah, please.
It's
well, just
so childish.
Grow up.
Just jump off that, and then we'll move on. But you said like we want our country to thrive and flourish. I think in the last couple of years, it's been hard to see any of that going on with all the thing this president is saying. He's all. I mean, I know you're not on Twitter yet, but just get on Twitter. It's like we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Every weekend is 885 tweets about this and that and blah blah blah. I mean, it's getting a little tired.
So if you take the social media out of it and look at the actual country itself.
Well, a lot of the things that are going on in the country right now is usually your first 4 years as president. A lot of the changes that last president made, we're riding off of that, and some of the changes that Trump is making right now, we're not really feeling some of those. That's my opinion about we want to talk about the economy, Trump. Well, that you should thank your previous administration, which you probably never would do. Anywho. Oh, sorry, was that harsh?